Sometimes you gotta slow down. And what appears to be a slowdown is actually you creating space to create the future, that nurturing platform for the future that you've always desired you could have, that would not only be sustainable, but something that's fun for you. And so, well, my friends, past several months, that's the space that I have been in, intentionally really slowing down to connect with that which truly matters, to connect with what is the possibility of what I would like my life to be, what's the energy I would like my life to be, and what choices do I need to be making to really, in a real, grounded, embodied sense, start moving towards it. So I thought I'd just hop in here real quick and give you guys a little update on what I've been up to, some amazing experiences I've had, full of possibilities, as hopefully an example to show you what's truly possible when you allow yourself to really just follow the whispers of knowing that you somewhere already have. So, past several months, actually, it started way back because I think maybe a few years ago, around the onset of COVID and somewhere in that whole phase of life, I remember really getting how the way that I've been creating my life, the way that I've been creating my business is not actually very generative for me. It was very much like trying to find a source outside of me to guide me, to tell me basically what to do that will make things work like charm. You know, when you have an idea or just a whisper of a possibility to begin with, you experience that possibility in its full form fruition. You experience it as what it can be. And it does require us to take steps to be moving towards that. And so, well, a few years ago, I really just made a choice to start looking at that and start looking at, okay, what is the energy I would like my life to be, even with my work? What is the energy I'd like my everyday life and creations to be? And it has been quite a journey. I started also asking, what is it like to relax in my life and in my creations, and to be a person in business who's relaxed and peaceful? It's been one of my big asks from myself and with the business that I want to be a peaceful multimillionaire, and which is sort of unheard of, at least for me. I really forget peaceful. I didn't grow up having a lot of examples, or any examples for that matter, around me of people who have that level of wealth and abundance, and from a place of kindness and compassion. That's always been a priority to me. And so I started asking for that. I started asking for, show me what is it like, universe, to like relax into possibilities. Now, you might have heard, and if not, this is the first time you might be hearing it from me, that things often, more often than not, in fact, show up different than how you would imagine them to show up. And so I started asking for relaxation, and it showed up in form of a massive nervous system breakdown for me. Last couple, more than a couple of years now, 2.5 years now almost, have been absolutely incredibly transforming, because my I was making these big asks and they showed up in ways I'd never imagined. My body got so loud and it started screaming for I didn't even know what back in those moments. And as I really finally got to a place with everything that was going on for me where I could start asking a true question from a place of genuine curiosity, I realized that actually my body is giving me information. It's saying something. There are messages it's trying to convey. And it's almost like my communication system between me and myself, me and my body and me, was somewhere broken a little. It had cracks, to say the least. And so it have been like these last 2.5 years of my life have been the most transformative years of my life, period. And I've gotten to use the tools in a way that I haven't before. I've gotten to really a level of curiosity in my life that I didn't have before, and a level of compassion and non-judgment, especially towards myself, that my truest wish for anybody who desires to have that level of communion with yourself is that may you find whatever it takes for you to have access to that space for you. It's just incredible. And so then I started also asking for a different space with my business. Actually, now that I think of it, almost more than a year ago. And it required and it entailed a lot of different choices I had to make that I did not know what they're going to lead to. And they were a lot of the times, most of the times, so uncomfortable. But bit by bit, slowly just following the sense of that energy that I was asking for and making choices based on that as my GPS, essentially, things started showing up different, opening up different. And we reached a point where now I get to have like this amazing, incredible team of mages that we all are creating towards this different future with creation and really making a spacious, gentle way of creating more accessible to whoever's interested in that in the world. And so, of course, not a lot of what I was doing up until like a year ago was energetically resonant. Now, I'm not saying like a lot of things that I was choosing, the tools that I was using, 100%, they evolved. They weren't exactly as resonant for me as they used to be because they evolved and they started contributing more. But when I say not resonant, what I mean more in terms of the visual aesthetic, I'm a very visual person. Like, I need to have a sense of space and aesthetic to play with energies. And having said that, also, like, this is my office room, which during COVID, I gave it up for my husband because he was working from home and it was a lot more ease for him to have his own space. And for me to have the rest of the space to myself rather than he be somewhere in the rest of the space and I be contained in the room. So anyway, and now we are moving things around, and I'll give you a tour of my office room once it's completely ready. It's all already shaping up to be in this beautiful space and form that I know will contribute to me with like flowers and pretty lights and all of that. I'll give you a tour when it's fully ready. But anyway, so things started changing, and I realized that I have got to approach my creations from this change and really be willing to let go of the way that I've been doing things. And so I did that. I let go of everything that I was doing, anything that I decided that this is working, this is not working. I'm like, no, let it all go. Let's just approach it with fresh eyes. And those fresh eyes have been such an enormous gift to me in the making. And I know too the mages that I get to play with too in my team. And so for the past several months, maybe a year, for some of us, when I say some of us, I mean some of my team mages and me, uh, we've been exploring, okay, what does it take to actualize this possibility? Because it's so palpable, it's so yummy, and it's so not something that you can see that anybody's teaching, or just follow a 10-step formula to get to. So how do we create this? And so we've been engaging with those energies, and they've been showing us what next. And we're in a space now. I'm excited. I'm just going to give you a heads up of what's coming, because we are going to be launching our new website very soon. And I've stopped. One of the things that I've learned in this process, this phase of my life, what's working for me is to not give myself super strict deadlines. I did that. And then if I wouldn't meet those deadlines, guess what? I'd build up this pressure. And one thing that everyone knows in my business we are prioritizing is no urgency, no pressure. Even if it means we stretch the deadlines. I mean, this is not to say a lot of times we create deadlines, then we buffer or basically not show up towards them in our everyday life. And then when we reach them, we then push them forward, but then we judge ourselves because we didn't do what we said we're going to do. We didn't keep our own words. And this is not the energy I'm interested in anymore in my life. So the space that we're choosing to create from, that I have adopted for myself, is where we do set deadlines. We sort of like, calling them deadlines also doesn't really match because deadline is such a strict energy and word just by itself. But we do set like target dates and stuff, and then we play. We show up every day, and then we don't pressure ourselves into, no, we have to do it by this time, this date, and we just keep going and see how far we can go. And if we need to move things forward a little bit, we move things forward a little bit. Big deal, as long as it's moving and it is congruent with the energy I'd like the business and my life to be. So we've been doing this for a while, and our website will be coming soon. A couple of new podcasts will be coming soon. I'm so excited. I almost just want to share everything about it. But I will when it's the correct timing. And I'm extreme in a lot of fun ways. And hence, we're not just going to be doing one, but two podcasts. And they're two very different formats. So I'm excited for all of that. And all of this change has been building up. And I've been really clarifying. There's an enormous amount of nervous system regulation work that I have been doing for the past 2 years that I found to be an incredible gift for me and my body. It's kind of like the language I needed to communicate with my body. And of course, I'm building a whole stream of work around that too. And everything that amazing, I'm loosely going to call it modality for a lack of knowing what else to call it. But the modality of Access Consciousness has been absolutely, like, it's what I love about Access and this fun thing that I get to play with these set of enormous tools is that you can mix it up with anything and make it yours. And so, of course, I've been playing enormously with that. And these tools have been incredible contribution to me all through my journey, even in the whole process of discovering what's going to work for me with the nervous system regulation tools and all that. So with so many exciting things coming that I cannot wait to share more about. I also, in the middle of all of this, had this magical 2-month experience with my parents. And they were visiting me from India. Those of you who do not know, I was born and brought up in India, and my parents still live there, and I now get to call the beautiful Pacific Northwest home. How did I get so lucky? I live in Seattle, Washington. And so they were visiting me for a couple months here, and we found a way to connect this time in a way that we haven't before. So I'm basically just what I'm trying to like convey here is that when you start prioritizing the energy you would like your life to be in every area of your life, things start showing up in a way that you could not have imagined otherwise. You cannot really logic yourself into these creations and these choices. And so we had this magical, especially the last few weeks of my parents being here, we really connected at a level that we hadn't ever before. And it was so healing for me. And I know it was healing for them too. And so, like we say with the tools of Access Consciousness, always ask, how does it get even better than this? Right? Because why not? Ask for things to get better and they will. A lot of times we like, oh, wow, we get content with what we have. Contentment is um, such an insidious, sneaky energy that doesn't truly contribute to a greater future for you. Just saying, by the way. But I'm gonna stop trying to have 10 conversations in one, and save some of these for some of my the couple podcasts and shows that are coming actually. Um, but also one thing that I really wanted to do this live about was just to give you a little bit of update on what's been up here in Ava Land, and also to share with you if you are familiar with the tools of Access, and if you're not, no worries, just hang on, stay here, listen to this. A couple or 3 weeks ago, something like that, in the certified facilitator class that I was in with Access, there was this whole conversation that came up around autonomy, which, you guys, has been changing my freaking world from like literally to its core. I am realizing, have you like ever had the sense of, that you need to protect yourself, you need to protect your being, um, as if you need to do something, you need to create like this sphere, this space that's you, to have a sense of who you are in the world. And I really honestly was found it to be quite useful in a lot of ways, and at the same time there would always be so much energy that it requires to maintain itself, because you, instead of functioning as in the world, in the whole realm and tools of access, we talk about infinite being and really invite you to look at for yourself, that are you an infinite being or are you a finite being? What do you get you are? And so if you do get you're an infinite being, that whole infinite being energy is different than being an autonomous being. Autonomy is such an insidious thing. The more that I'm exploring it, the more that it's melting me in a way that really giving me access to true joy that the being that I am truly is. Because I'm recognizing how much I had misidentified the sense of autonomy I need to have in order to survive in the world. And while, sure, from one point of view, you can say that it's true that if you want to survive the world, having that sense of autonomy does help and contribute towards that. But what if you are not interested in just surviving? What if what you're truly interested is in thriving? And I know this can sound so like surfacey, right? These are words that are just thrown around so often and often overused, like surviving, thriving, all of that. But truly, what is it like to thrive as a being that you are in your world? Not like, so often we keep these aspects or parts of us that are like spiritual in nature almost. They have like this etheric sense to them, like, however you connect with your own inner spirituality, we have like that part be separate almost or in conflict almost from another part that is like, but you got to pay your bills, you got to live in this world. My target is to look at how do we blend these two together in the most pragmatic of ways. And let me tell you, this whole autonomy conversation to me is one of the ingredients. And so, whether you have heard about autonomy in Access or not, even if you've heard about Access consciousness or not, I invite you to come play with me. I'm doing like this simple 1 hour adventure of a call where we really dive deep into freedom beyond autonomy, what it is like to truly receive from and create with oneness and true communion with yourself, with the universe, not just as this metaphysical, spiritual concept, but as the reality of you living this life on this planet. So I think I will wrap up on this note and really just invite you to check it out. It's a simple $50 call and there's country pricing. If you're not familiar with what country pricing is, just ask or just go to avapandit.com/autonomy. And as you scroll down to the section where you choose to join, you'll find a link to read up about the country pricing. It's an exciting, fun, different thing that Access offers. And since this conversation, this class is so Access, like it is an Access consciousness conversation, the tools that we'll be using will be from this world. I mean, the world of Access. I invite you to come play, check it out, bring your curiosities, bring your questions, and let's explore. What is it like to move beyond that isolated sense of me, the space that you think you need to have access to you? What else is possible beyond it? What's truly available for you, my friend? I cannot wait to hopefully see you there or see you in another space and another time. So grateful that you're here and really, really grateful that you stayed with me through this time, all through this conversation. So thank you. I'll see you another time. Bye bye. Only if I can find a way to end this stream. Give me a second here.